Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Hasbro acquiring um, D&D Beyond from Fandom, buying it for $146 million and handing it as a sweet gift to Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so Hasbro acquired it. They got it from Fandom. D&D Beyond is the product they got, and Hasbro is just handing it to WotC as a gift. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying that is there's people who are like, hey, Hasbro or WotC acquired. WotC ain't doing no acquisitions. Okay, Hasbro is doing acquisitions. It's important to understand that. Like, we ignore the Hasbro part a lot, and I get that, right? Because we don't care about it. But it's not incidental to Dungeons and Dragons, right? There's a point, like it is a distinct point that the company that had My Little Pony, which is, there's history there. Like they had a moment, like multiple moments, right? G.I. Joe, like major. Hasbro owns Death Row Records. I mean, like they are a major global company, right? And they own Magic the Gathering and a lot of other stuff, and so it's a big deal, right? So what we're going to talk about today is what did Wizards of the Coast get for the $146 million? And I understand Hasbro bought it. We're going to talk about WotC now. What does WotC get for $146 million? Okay, they didn't get it. Ain't the tech. No, ain't nobody paying $146 million for the tech on D&D Beyond. The tech is bog standard. Super uninnovative, nothing unique, nothing new, nothing you can't find way better on 100 other sites. Okay, that's just my opinion. I know that's a little cruel to say that. Apologies. I know people worked hard on D&D Beyond. Commentary is challenging. You got to break a couple eggs to make an omelet, right? And the reality is, the tech is not. The tech is virtually nothing. It's not. It's really not what's being bought. So what is being bought? And y'all's in the comments, I see you. You already beat me to the answer on half of these, but that's okay. I hate when I can't, when I have to, when there's any break between my videos because there's just no shelf. I can't there's no shelf. And also just want to let you guys know, there's 15 things I wanted to talk about this week, but this is the event and this is the thing I had to talk about. Nerd Immersion talks about it too. He's like, I got things I want to talk about. And these events hit and it's all you can talk about because you got to talk about the thing when it happens or nobody cares, right? So all right, so let's go. So what's happening with this, right? So here's the kicker, okay? Let's get to the kicker, all right? What did WotC excuse me, what did WotC get for $146 million? They got three things. They got content, they got time, and they got trust. Let's kick them through. Content. All right, so first of all, D&D Beyond is a good execution, not a great execution. Not a great execution, not a great execution, but not a terrible. It's not anything to be ashamed of. It's just nothing to be proud of, right? They took Dungeons and Dragons content, 5th edition, and put it into a modern platform. And that modern platform is real. It has authorization, it has authentication, it has It has multi-platform accessibility. It can be, accessed on a mobile phone. It can be accessed on a PC. That ain't easy. There's some work that was done there, right? That's real, and that is real, right? And here's the kicker, all right? Everybody wants to see, everybody's like, hey, my stuff's the same as D&D. No, it is not, right? Every copy game out there, every legacy D&D version wants to pretend that their games matter. They don't, right? Because the moment you put this stuff on D&D Beyond like this, you have regular, okay, people who are putting in, you have regular dungeon masters who actually buy the physical book who are still going over to D&D Beyond with a free account when they're at their grandmother's house, right? And they ain't got their books, right? And they can hit it on Wi-Fi and get a ton of D&D content. Not all of it, a ton of D&D content just with a free account. Not even a subscription, right? And then there's a ton of people like me. I want to tell you, man, my world got incredibly better the day this acquisition happened, right? Because I have a player who is one of my players who then became my dungeon master. And the moment he became my dungeon master, he put up, he said, hey, I subscribe to D&D Beyond. Give me your email and I will put you under my subscription umbrella, which is completely the function of saying, hey, you're in my campaign, you get access to these books because of my active campaign, right? And I can't believe it. I have 3 source books. I have 3 core books, 7 source books, and 10 adventures that I get for nothing, right? Like, that's nuts, because a friend of mine is playing the subscription and put me on his subscription plan as per design of the site, because we have an active campaign. It's incredible, right? And so the content is there. The Dungeons & Dragons content, they actually did the hard work and put the content in, okay? Next is time. Anyone can do what was done on D&D Beyond. You don't even have to be that technically savvy, right? You don't even need, there ain't no, innovation here, right? Anybody who's technically savvy could have done this. But they didn't. They didn't, right? Just because you could didn't mean you did. And there's a huge difference. And that's why there's $146 million of value on this, because they did take the time to do it, right? Anybody who could move a mouse and a keyboard could have done this, right? But they didn't, right? And that's the key. And D&D Beyond have been working hard on this for years, right? And that time and that actual movement, not the concept that you could do it, but not the running your mouth that you could do it, but the real I done it, right? That's what is worth money. They moved forward. They drank coffee in the morning and they worked for 8 hours a day, and they had 5, 10, 15 people doing it for years, right? And yes, you could have done it with your little startup, right? But the reality is you didn't. And that's why there's value, real value, right, in that time. And the last one is trust. This is huge, right? I actually think it's a major mistake that Wizards of the Coast bought D&D Beyond. And the reason why is the second, right? Those employees are Wizards of the Coast employees. They can relax. They can all relax. They're all part of a big global company that has My Little Pony and G.I. Joe protection money, right? And the reality is, whereas if you a startup, you got to scramble like nuts every second of the day, because you are a hair's breadth away from losing your job and losing your entire business, right? But now they can all just, spend an extra 10 minutes around the water cooler. There ain't no all the pressure's off, right? Okay, it's like it's I mean, I'm gonna go there. Here's the thing, right? And here's the thing, that product, I'll tell you right now, D&D Beyond ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. And the reason why is D&D Beyond was built by a web-savvy tech company, right? Hasbro ain't no web-savvy tech company. They know how to make dolls, right? This product is not going to get better, okay? But here's the trust part, okay? When they bought it, there are people who spent $650 for the bundle saying, give me everything on D&D Beyond. They were terrified because they were like, you know what? Is WotC going to keep this thing running? I have all this money invested. Is this going to last? Or are they just going to fold this thing up and we're going to GleeMax in a month, right? And that trust is incredibly valuable. It told everybody who ever spent a dime on D&D Beyond, and I've spent about $50 on content on D&D Beyond over 5 years, I think, right? Which is nothing compared to, and there I know people who spent easily $1,000 on D&D Beyond, easily $1,000, right? And so, but they gave them trust. They're like, hey, your content isn't going to just disappear in a vapor. We see you, we believe in you, we're going to be kind to you, we're going to protect you. Don't get worried, right? Your investment in this intangible, this thing that isn't there's nothing real here, right? It's just vapor and ghost smoke, right? But we're going to hold it up for you, right? And that's important when people trust. Trust is invaluable, right? It's so rare today, right? And they bought trust, and it is a big freaking deal. All that's my opinion. What are you seeing here? Why do you think this is important? And some of you already put down the answers I just gave you yesterday, but which I appreciate. I see you. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider subscribing. Have a wonderful moment.